Financially raw, real, authentic wisdom with Lourens from Retire Rich and Happy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Financially Raw. I couldn't be on last week, but I am glad to be back, and thank you for everyone that is joining me this morning. Guys, so today's topic, we're going to talk about the hierarchy of financial abundance. We're going to talk about the steps you need to take and the building blocks you need to put in place if you want to become financially abundant. And I'm going to run through everything so that you know exactly and you have a roadmap to show you exactly where you need to go to achieve financial abundance. It is great to be with you. As per usual, we are going to be on our social media channels. So everybody on Facebook, welcome, LinkedIn and YouTube, as well as our audience on Berg Studio. So if you are listening to me on Berg Studio, you are welcome to give me a shout out. We've got a little shout out button at the top. And you just press that button and I will be able to respond to you in studio. Okay, so we got a message saying my mic's audio is not coming through. Thanks so much for that, France. Let's just quickly do the settings there and see. Give me 1 second. I hope it is better now. So if you can just give me some feedback, France, if that is fixing it, I would appreciate it. Okay, guys, and then on Berg Studio, we're going to have some music. I'm going to play some nice music from Prime Circle, Green Day, Def Leppard, and Three Doors Down. And then on our social media, unfortunately, we cannot play the music, so you will have to listen to our or watch our little video. And the video we're going to share with you while we are doing the music on Berg Studio is going to be about a discussion I had with one of our top coaches, Warren Turner, about not investing for retirement and why that is so important. So let's before we start, let's quickly take a short music break, and then we're going to listen to Prime Circle and Out of Place. So last week we ended speaking about not living paycheck to paycheck and how important it is to first have control over your cash flow, really have a system in place like we teach, and then to make sure that you have positive cash flow at the end of the month and start planning ahead. What is next on our list?
Well, next would be is not investing in retirement.
Okay.
I think, and a lot of people think just taking 15 or 20% of their salary, putting it into some RA or endowment, and they fine. I'm not saying, and I think I said this last week, I'm not saying that an RA and an endowment is wrong. I'm not saying that. But don't just rely on that, because let's just be practical here. You take 15 or 20% of your salary, you put it away. At 65, you expect to get your whole salary, and you've only saved 20% of it. I mean,
when does it become 20% become 100%?
Exactly. So I'm going to be straight there, and please don't take offense. Guys, get a reality check on that. That's not going to happen. So you need to find different ways. And again, I'm constantly throughout this whole program going to refer to our coaching model. And that's what we help people with, is create these multiple streams of income generating assets, and take bite sizes of your active income away every single month or every single year, and start creating your retirement through that.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I want to add to what you're saying now. The first one is what I've been saying for quite a while already, is that we've been taught that saving is the answer. Yeah. Saving is the solution to retire. As long as you save enough, 10%, 15%, 20% of your salary, you will retire comfortably. And how I explain it to people is, if you want to build a brick wall, saving is not the wall. So if retirement was the wall, saving is not all the bricks. So you need to use some of the other bricks that you have at your disposal. So what do people do? They use savings bricks to build their wall. They get to retirement and their wall is only half built because savings bricks isn't alone. So you have to have different bricks that you use to build your retirement wall. Otherwise, you're not going to finish it.
Exactly.
And that's what we see every single day. So there's three types of assets that we teach. So the first one is capital assets, and that's what we've been taught since we were very small. Save, have enough capital in the bank or money in the bank, live off the interest. That's the simplified version of it. But people don't look at having business assets that generate income through leverage, having fixed assets. So you have to have three types of assets: capital assets, business assets, and fixed assets. And that's where it comes in, where you're saying create multiple sources of income as well. You can't just have one source of income. Another thing around that is, and this is something you would see when you start working with people from a financial planning perspective, and I've seen it in the 23, 22 years that I've been, is that people want to be passive investors. You sit with them and they say, well, I've got 1,000 Rand a month that I want to put away, and then just do something with it. Just put it away. So they sign a little. Welcome back, everyone, and that was Prime Circle Out of Place. I hope our Berg Studio sound has been sorted out. So if you are listening on Berg Studio, please let me know if our sound problem has been fixed. So let's get going. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the hierarchy of financial abundance. So let's get to it and start running through. And I know it seems like a very daunting picture that I'm showing you, but as I go through it, you will get a very good idea of what it is that you need to build and the different building blocks that you can use to build this financial structure of yours. So at the bottom, way at the bottom, you see there, that is your foundation of your whole financial structure, and that is called financial intelligence. Okay, guys, I have a bit of an issue on Berg Studio, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for another short music break because I don't want anybody to miss out. So let's go for a small break again, and then I'm going to see if I can sort out our issue on Berg Studio so that everybody can listen. So let's just take another music break. Form, the insurance company or the financial institution comes every month, takes the money out of their bank account, and they just hope to hell that they do something with the money.
Yes.
And then when they get to 65 and it's not enough, then it's everybody else's fault. It's the insurance company who stole their money. It is the financial advisor that didn't do his job. It's everybody except them.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you cannot be financially successful if you don't, or if you want to be a passive investor. You have to become an active investor.
Exactly.
And becoming an active investor starts with a financial education. That doesn't mean you have to become a financial advisor, but it means you need to understand how these things work so that you can start making informed decisions and use these products on your terms, not the insurance company's terms, not the financial advisor's terms. And if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to learn, then you can't complain when you feel that they've done you in over the long term.
And on that is also ask questions. If a person says they're going to put your money somewhere and you're going to earn X, ask them to show you how that's going to happen. When is that going to happen? How long will it take before you actually earn X?
Yeah.
What happens if you pull your money out after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years? What are the parameters around the investment? Because it's your money. It's not the guy that's investing your money. It's not his money. It's your money. So for him, he's doing the best he thinks. Hopefully, hopefully he's doing the best for you. But if it doesn't suit your needs, then say no.
Yeah.
You know, there's no harm in saying no and say no.
Questions.
Is there something else? Because if there is something else, find out about it.
Yeah.
You know, don't let a person just come to you with one thing. come to you with 2 or 3 different things. Ask about the risk, ask about the term, ask these questions, because then at the end of the day you can say, okay, I've done my due diligence, I'm happy with it, let's move forward for that amount of time, but also keep an eye on it.
Yeah, make and be able to make informed decisions. Another one I've got on here that ties in nicely to what we're talking about is overestimating the value of capital. That's one of the big money mistakes people make as well. And it comes into the person sitting with you and showing you, well, if you put away 1,000 Rand a month and you do it for 30 years or 20 years, it's going to give you 3 million Rand by the time you retire. And then you're going to get this bonus and this payback of your fees and everything they sell you. But we overestimate the value of that capital. So we say, 3 million, sheesh. With 3 million Rand, I put it in the bank, 12 or 10% interest, that's 300,000 Rand per year, that's 25,000 Rand a month. No, I'll be fine with 25,000 Rand a month. But that's not how capital works. People completely overestimate the value of capital. And we've got a video that I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we've got a video on our YouTube channel called The Rule of Tens and the Rule of 300, where you can estimate what the actual value of capital is.
It's actually a shocker.
It
really is.
When you watch that, so simply the rule of 300 is when you have an amount of capital, if you want to know how much income it can sustainably generate, you take that capital and you divide it by 300. So you take 3 million Rand divided by 300, and that won't give you more than, what's that? The 300, that's 10,000 Rand a month.
Yeah.
That is it, with 3 million capital. And we're thinking that it should be able to give us 25 or 30,000 Rand per month. So it's very important to understand the value of capital, because this is what happens, and we call it the death spiral. So people have capital, they take more capital, more income than that capital can sustainably generate, which means the capital reduces over that year. Then the next year, they have to take even more income to make sure that they have enough with inflation, but there's less capital to generate that. So they have to take more of the capital to generate the income, which means the next year there's less capital available. And then they get into that death spiral.
And because there's less capital, the interest is less.
Exactly.
So it just falls.
It just gets less and less and less. And the problem is that it starts happening so slowly that people don't realize it initially, because it's a small amount and a small amount over a year. But after about 5 years, you're in the death spiral, and once they realize it, it's too late to get out of the death spiral. They're in that spiral, and that's it. Unless they go out and they sell their house and go live in a little plain little place. They start working again to generate alternative streams of income. Unless they do that, their retirement is ruined. And then the retirement is ruined in any case.
Exactly. And everything started with just putting, well, I've got an RA or an endowment. Sorry, I'm just going back to that always. And they think it's enough. And then when they realize, like you say, when they realize it's not enough, then that's too late.
So, the best time to start, it was 10 years ago. Second best time to start and do something different is now.
Right now.
I always say you can't change or solve a problem with the same things that created the problem in the first place. And that's sort of what's happening in the industry a lot of times, is they want to solve the problem exactly the same way with the same things that created the problem. And you can't just do more of something that created a problem and think that's now suddenly going to solve the problem. You have to do something different. And that is what we teach through our system and through the coaching, is an alternative method. And we're not saying, like you said rightfully, we're not saying don't save. We're not saying don't put money away. Don't save for retirement. What we are saying is that is not the complete picture. We're saying you need to do other things as well if you really want to get to a comfortable retirement.
But then on that as well, people then also make silly decisions, and they go after these other investments that are fly-by-nights, and the guys pack their bags and they fly with all the billions of rands that they've made, and they go and live in Greece or wherever, and no one can find them. So please be aware of that. Another thing, it's also easy to turn around and say, oh, well, that guy stole all my money. No, he didn't steal your money. You gave it to him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
be careful on who you're going to go and invest with. I'm not going to mention any names, but yes, be careful.
You're almost dead.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's so true. It is, again, you need to take responsibility as well. You made that decision. Doesn't matter who told you. You didn't do your homework. You didn't get your education up to understand. And again, we've got a video on our channel talking about how to spot a financial scam. Go watch that video. Even if you get approached by an investment opportunity, go watch that video.
Yes.
and ask those questions. I think in that video I give you like 6 questions that you can ask to make sure that it's not a financial scam. So go watch that. I mean, the content is there. You don't have to be uninformed.
Yeah, no.
There's no reason to be uninformed.
I mean, you've always got that little saying, is if it all goes south, who do I sue to get my
Who do
money
I
back?
sue?
Now, if there's no one you can sue to get your money back, well then, hey,
Yeah.
don't put your money there. Because
Exactly
you've got not a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
So be careful.
We're almost getting to the end of it now. So what is next?
I think we've covered, I think, most of the bases. So we're reaching what we call our bottom line. Okay. So at the end of the day, we need to look at where our money is going. And I've just read something here. We need to steer ourselves away from the dangers of overspending. And I think what encapsulates that is when you want to purchase something, and especially now, Christmas time, what do? We just buy from an emotional standpoint.
Yeah.
And I think, Black Friday is coming up soon.
Just something with
Yeah.
us South Africans. So the US starts Black Friday. So
Yeah.
they have this Black Friday thing. Then we get it.
Yes.
But then it's not Black Friday. Now suddenly I see people go, Black November.
Yeah.
So one day is not enough for South Africa. We need a whole freaking black month.
Exactly.
Otherwise we can't shop enough. And then
You know,
we worry why we are in such financial trouble.
Everyone says the Americans go big, but I think we're starting to catch up. Our small little country, we're starting to catch up. Yes.
No, Black November now. Black Friday
Yes.
sale starts on the 1st of November. Then you see all these Black Friday sales. I'm just thinking, oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Money.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to purchasing something, instead of buying it right there and then, actually take a step back, think about it. And when I say take a step back, leave it for a day or two. Because it's normally that spur of the moment thing. You see those shoes, you see the TV, you see the whatever you want to buy, and you think, okay, I'm going to put it on my credit card or whatever. I'm not saying don't purchase it. I'm saying wait a day or two, because normally that emotion just runs past and you think, I don't really need
it,
that
yeah.
item now, and you'd rather get something that actually you really need. Okay.
It's those impulse purchases. They call
Yes.
it the itch cycle.
That's
you go
it.
onto that itch cycle and then you want to do it immediately. I mean, that's why in all the shops, what happens when you walk to the till? They've got these little rows of sweets and chocolates
100%.
and whatever, because it's that impulse purchase. And they actually do studies on how much that increases they call it the price, the price of the basket.
Yes.
So they increase the basket price by 10-12% just by doing that, with people going, oh yeah, take this, oh I haven't
Yeah.
eaten, and that's that impulse purchase.
Yeah.
A big thing with that, and I always say that as well, is that people then say, but it's because I don't have the discipline. I don't have the discipline to not do it.
And then, sorry for chipping in, because
Yeah.
this is cute. And I'm saying cute because Woolworths, people were complaining because Woolworths had all these chocolates and everything. Okay. Then they complained about it because it was an impulse spend.
Yeah.
I mean, you blaming a shopping center for putting a chocolate in your face
So that you can buy more.
so that you can buy it, and then you blame them because you went and paid for it.
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's like the people in America that sues McDonald's because they are obese and got heart attacks. I mean,
Yeah.
just don't go into the McDonald's, people. Nobody's putting a gun against your head. What was my point? Oh, yes. So people then say, oh, but it's because I don't have the discipline.
Yeah.
And it's not a discipline issue. It's an awareness issue. if you are not aware of how much you've already spent this month, how much you have left, where you are against your goals for the month, then it's very difficult, because now you have to purely on emotion make a decision.
Yes.
And the emotion will always win. Where if you know, listen, my variable cost budget for the month is 10,000 Rand. I've already spent 7 and I've still got 2.5 weeks left. Then you stand in front of those red shoes and go, ooh, this might not be a good idea, because if I'm spending it, that's my variable cost budget for the month gone.
Yes.
And then you make different decisions. And it's not then purely a discipline issue. It's just awareness. It's just knowing where you are. And people don't.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
No.
They don't know where their credit card is. And then they've got 4 of them. They then move one from one credit card to the other credit card. They have no idea what they're spending.
What, steal from Peter to pay Paul.
Exactly that. Yeah.
But I would say that I think a lot of people have got that misconception that just because you can afford, just because you can pay for something, doesn't mean you can afford it. Because having something and taking out your credit card and paying for it is one thing. Being able to afford that thing 2 months down the line or 3 months down the line. I mean, I can't remember who said this, but how many people after Christmas are taking half the stuff that they've got, if not more, to pawn shops to get the money back so that they can carry on living till the end of January. You know,
it's the boom time for pawn shops and cash converters.
So
and these guys.
Please, guys, just because you can pay for an item doesn't mean that you can afford it.
Yeah, that's such a good message to end the show with. I think that says everything. Just because you can pay for it doesn't mean you can afford it. So really understand. Be aware, have a system, especially going into this time of the year. This could be a great time to set yourself up for January, or it could be a great time to mess up your 2020 without it even starting yet. Okay, Warren, thanks so much. Again, if people want to get hold of you, please give them your details so that if people want to speak to you.
Okay, so my email, it's warren@rrh.life, and then